uh, sorry, you can then ask your questions or like make your contributions to the questions asked. So please feel free, join the conversation. It's going to be open. We are really all here to learn and then to celebrate one another. So I'll just give a brief history about BNET Learning. Some of us might know BNET very well, but for those of us that are new to this session, BNET Learning is a professional development platform. We operate in Nigeria and Canada for now. We are going global soon enough. Right, and we offer courses in business analysis, project management, Scrum Masters, Scrum Product Owners, and then some data analysis courses, database management. If you want to learn data analysis using Power BI, we also offer trainings for those courses. But the point of focus today is business analysis. And since our inception, we have trained over 500 business analysts from different countries. We have them from different industries. We have business analysts who, at some point in their career, they were lawyers or who studied law in school, right? Some people who did something not directly related to business analysts, but business analysis, but they've been able to make that transition in their career, right? So if you're new and you're wondering how to go about the transition, then I would say you're in the right place. So just feel free to ask questions, like I said earlier, and make some contributions if you have to. Okay, so we can start now. We have Buchi, who's our host. Buchi, do you want to say some few words before we start asking the questions?
Good everyone. Depending on the time zone you are at. So my name is Buchi. I'm a business analyst. I've known BNET for over, well, I call it 15 years or 10 years. I can't remember. I got certified in 2012, and I was trained by BNET, and we've been in partnership since then. So I'm currently the Chief Operating Officer of a Primera Microfinance Bank. And since then, I've been applying the body of knowledge principle of IIBA, which is which is an endorsed provider, education provider. So, and I can say that business analysis is a foundation to a lot of things that we're doing now, which I will speak to later in the discussion. And it has helped me in my career. It has helped me make the right impact. It has helped me challenge the status quo. So I'm sure if we are considering or trying to make a decision whether you need to understand the principle of business analysis, I think you are I think you should say yes to that doubt, whether you have a doubt or not, because you must not be a business analyst, but the foundation, understanding the principles on how it works, will help you, your career, personal life, as a family man, as a single, as an individual. That's all I can say at this point.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Just reiterating the point you said of like how business analysis can help in your personal life too. I know we had a video on our social media page from Dolapo, where she shared how she used the principles of business analysis to better understand the needs of her child, right? Who didn't like a particular type of footwear. But based off of her doing like requirements gathering, she was then able to properly understand what the child wanted, and now she can't get him to put off the shoes, right? So even in your personal life, I believe there are principles you would learn as a business analyst that you can also add to make your life better, basically. So, Buchi, I'll say first question: where did you transition from? Like, I don't think there's a business analysis course in university that will say, okay, we went to school to read. So what was your background before you then became a
BA? Okay. I read I read geology in university,
Okay.
but I didn't practice for a day. Then it was kind of difficult to enter into the oil sector during our sets. And then I found myself in a consulting firm,
Okay.
Michel and Co. Then from there, I was a trainee consultant. I learned a lot of things in that consulting firm, but at that point, I wasn't calling it a business analysis. It was when I was at the interview panel for the then Oceanic Bank that after presenting what I normally do on a day-to-day basis, and then they told me that if I'm doing so, so and so, that means you are creative and innovative. I said, okay, maybe that's it. So from there, they told me there's a unit, a special unit, they call it business process reengineering, and that they will assign me to that unit. And that's how I became a BA.
Okay. That is fantastic. So I'll ask this question in your own words. Who is a business analyst? For short.
So in my own words, a business analyst is a person who identifies a business or process owner's needs or problem or opportunities, then work with relevant stakeholders to develop a solution that will address that need or opportunity. So it's like a middleman, but the main thing is to identify the needs, not the problem. Because in the IIBA definition, they say underlying need of an enterprise. Because most of the times the process owner or business owner will just tell you their problem. But as a BA, you need to identify the underlying need, the root cause of that problem. And if you address that by working with all the relevant stakeholders, you will surely come out with a solution that will address that. And also in line with the business analysis core concept model of IIBA. It says that business analysis enables change in an enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders while considering context. That's in line with the IIBA business analysis core concept model.
That's awesome. I'd say it's also in line with the what we popularly call business analysts at BNET Learning. We call business analysts change agents, right? So they're the ones who look forward to change. They embrace change with all their hearts and ensure value is being given to stakeholders. Stakeholders could be either your customers or even your peers inside the office, your colleagues, and also your management, the organization in total. Okay, so next questions. One trend to watch out for is data at this point. So I know we say data is the new oil, and we're going towards a data-driven economy, data-driven organization, right? So within your role as a business analyst, right? How often do you interact with data? Right? Is it a major decision-making factor for you as a BA, or it's just an additional factor?
Well, if in the context of business analysis or business process analysis, in that context, what we call data today, and now link it to a data scientist or AI or blockchain technology, and Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, is the foundation is business analysis. Because if I recruit a data scientist today, and the scientist or engineer or software engineer doesn't understand the requirements, which is the process, which is the business analysis aspect of it, he might have the skills, he might use Power BI, he might use all the Tableau or this scripting. But if he or she doesn't understand the process, the supporting process, he won't deliver value. So, and to break it down, today we have been in a project, robotics process automation. And I found out that in one of the sessions we are discussing on how to identify how to script the bots so that he will speak to the needs. And then we are using Blue Prism. So we called the developer, and the developer told me that I know how to code these bots in the Blue Prism platform, but the process, which is the business analysis aspect, I don't know. So it's you that will tell me what to do. A data scientist needs to understand how the data is structured. That's a business analysis, because he will engage the data owner, either operations or technology, to understand how the table is structured in the system. And from there, and then use the scale to come up with a dashboard and a reporting aspect of it. And even within process analysis, there's what we call process optimization, or process mining, or process discovery.
Okay.
And it has been proven over and over again, without optimizing a process, you can't automate a process or digitize a process. And how do you automate a process, optimize a process? By identifying it, either using process discovery. Process discovery, to understand, is the concept of understanding all the possible scenarios of a process. And process mining is using data to understand process scenarios. So it's all leads back to data. Today, we know, all of us say assist. Assist is the current data of what is being done. Using that data and transforming it to a solution that will work for the stakeholder. So for me, data, big oil, you still need a business analyst to drive that big data, which is new oil. So without a business analysis, we won't get value for what the world is saying is the new oil. So I'm saying a business analysis is relevant as at how many years ago, and it will be relevant in the near future. Not in the near future, in everything we do in life, because you need to break it down. So it's just the foundation. So data is critical to improvement, and you need a business analysis skill to be able to mine that data to come up with a value proposition. Thanks.
Okay, that is great. So this leads to the next question, which is I'd say, relationship question, right? So like you have said, as a BA, you tend to work with different people with different skills, right? In most teams, you see there's a BA, there's a maybe a product manager, there's a project manager, and if possible, a data scientist too. Right, so within a team, or like if you're working on a project, there definitely needs to be a leader and somebody who's taking charge of everything. In a typical scenario, who takes charge? Should it be the BA or the PM? Yeah, I know collaboration definitely is a soft skill every BA, or actually every professional should have to excel in their career. But in this case, like in this project, who takes the lead?
Okay. BA, in line with what IIBA said, is a body of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's not really a methodology of getting a solution, just a body of knowledge that will give you insight on how to work with teams and stakeholders to deliver value. So what you want me to explain the approach of getting that value, because in a team, you must have a BA for it to work. You must have a product manager or product owner to get value, and you must have a project manager. So to answer that question, I will use an approach that I use, which is agile.
Okay.
Agile approach for project execution. And we all know, in line with Agile manifesto, that there's no in a Scrum team, which is a model, there's no leader. It's a team, they are team members. The bottom line is that the value, everybody understands, self-organizing team work together to get value, a working software, working a change for the customer. So if you follow the current trend in the industry, yes, we see the role of a BA, role of a project manager. Product manager is reducing. They are not calling it product owner. You will see in context, everybody is in charge of his or her own area. But as a team, we work together. Collaboration, you are the one that said it. So a self-organizing team, we don't focus on who is the leader. We focus on delivering value. Because if you focus on who is the leader in a project team, there's always a tendency of people not being open to ideas, open to their own ideas, because they say, okay, he's the boss.
Okay, seems Buchi's network is hanging, so let's just give him a minute to come back. Right. In the meantime, thank you to everyone that has joined so far. I see the numbers keep increasing. This session is an open session. I just want to bring that back. It's an open session, so please feel free to join the conversation if you would want to jump on it. In fact, I'm just going to throw this question open to everybody, right? If you think maybe the BA, I think Buchi has really like made a point there to say there's really no leader, right? It's a team, is a teamwork, and we all should just collaborate to ensure the work gets done, right? Yes, so if you have any contribution, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise up your hand, or just like you can unmute. I think you should be able to unmute. If you can't, please just raise up your hand. We'll mute you, and then you can join the conversation. Okay, so let's just give Buchi a moment. Okay, there's a hand up. All right, let me just unmute you. I think you should be able to unmute now. Nia Lola.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Good day, everyone.
Session.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this session. So for me, I wish Buchi is back, but anybody can actually pick up the question or answer the question rather.
Okay.
So usually you find out that in some organizations, you have the product owner double as a BA, and sometimes so you find the BA double as a product owner. So where do you draw the line? And there's a thin line between the two roles. And I was hoping that maybe Buchi will be able to, for the benefit of, people that don't know the thin line between the product owner and the BA, because sometimes you just realize that, those roles can actually clash, or you find yourself doing either of the roles and you don't know that you're actually doing it. So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for asking. I do think Buchi is fully back. Right. Okay. He's back. Buchi, I don't know if you got the question. You're on mute.
What's the question, please?
Okay, she says there's Niala, do you want to go again? Okay.
Yes, I want to. I was waiting for you to unmute me. I didn't know I could. All right. So welcome back, Buchi. So I was just saying while you were away that, in some organizations, even though you're hired as a BA, you find out that sometimes you end up doing the role of a product owner. and vice versa. There's a thin line between the two because you're actually almost doing the same thing to an extent. So what's for the benefit of people that want to get into that role as a business analyst, can you throw a bit of light into the thin line between a business analyst and a product owner, so people can actually decide or know if they still want to remain as a business analyst, just that thin line, so people don't cross over when they have that kind of, if they find themselves in that kind of situation where they have to do either of the roles. Thank you. I mean, that's just a summary of what I was trying to say. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for your question. And I can attest to what you just said, but there's a big difference between a product owner and a BA. So a product owner is kind of, if I want to break it down in a simple language, is the customer, but our internal customer representing the external customer. So if you understand the meaning of the concept of a product manager, the product manager interacts with the customer to understand the needs of the customer and work with internal stakeholders to create a product that's like special savings accounts, all kind of products, debit card, premium debit card, or products alike. So, but that means the product owner is focused on coming up with solutions that will address the need of a customer, be it internal or external, mostly external. So now works with a business analyst to break down that customer's requirements to a user story form or a requirement business requirement list. So probably if I'm meeting a customer, you say I want a scenario where my card will work, let's say only in Canada or only in Nigeria, and then the product owner or a product manager, as some of them are being called, will now come. How do we create these products? The BA will ask all the questions during requirement elicitation and understand it and state it in a format that the developers or the software engineers will understand it. That's where the current term for business requirement document is now a user story, in a way that a developer will look at it and be able to create a card program that will address the customer's need. So in a global definition about product owner is about creating products that will address the need of customers out there. A BA will break down that requirements using user story concept and engaging the relevant stakeholders that need to be internal control, any relevant stakeholder that will work with the product owner to come up with a solution. So that's why a product owner will come up with and populate the product backlog. And populate the product backlog and now work with the internal stakeholders, including a BA, to break it down in a format, in a way that will be that will be clear to the software engineer. So some organization now, based on also the current trend, multitasking, multi-talented, would like to merge the two, a product owner and a BA. But for me, there are two distinct roles. A BA works mostly with all the internal stakeholders to get a solution delivered. A product owner works more with the customer to get a product delivered, but all of them work as a self-organizing team to deliver with the products, depending on how you want to create your development team, to come up with a product that will exceed the customer's expectation. Yes, James.
Hi, Bushi. Thank you for taking me. I really like your contribution, and I wanted to add something.
Okay.
If this will also help people.
Yeah.
We're going to remember that in project, there are certain roles that are performed. It could be the responsible role, the accountable role, the consulting role, or just a bit of informing role. And so we go back to that RACI chart of RACI. And I like really what you said around self-organizing team and the fact that when people become so responsible or accountable for something, they begin to take leadership role. Two things I want to make really clear. The first is you cannot legislate for how project or work is done within organization, meaning that the way that we would do something in my company XYZ will be different to how things are done in ABC company.
Yes.
And so you have to align with the processes, structures within that organization. Niniola, that's how, for an organization, they might actually combine both activities of a BA plus a product owner. There could be argument for and against, absolutely. But that's based on the current practice within that particular organization. The second point I want to mention is when things like that happen, it then puts a little bit of complexity to who is truly accountable, who is truly responsible for deliverables. The understanding that we need here is what is accountability? Accountability speaks to the fact that if things don't go well, who do we go to? That is that person that is accountable for that particular deliverable. The person that is responsible is the person doing the actual work, the coder, the BA should be a responsible resource or role within the project team. Wise Butcher had said that, Scrum says it's self-directing team. I quite agree. But let's look at it from a perspective that things don't go well. Who do we go to? Then we go back to the product owner, because the product owner is the one accountable for the success or otherwise of that project. And so let's remember those basic differentiations of roles and responsibility within the project, why we might combine it based on the practice of that organization. The real practice is to separate them. So have just one person accountable for a particular deliverable and another person accountable. That's why you don't see a Scrum Master as a resource within the project, because then there is conflict of deliverables, there is conflict of work, and there might be conflict of what am I doing now? Am I the Scrum Master or am I the coder? So those are some of the differentiations that need to be addressed.
Yeah, thanks, James, for that clarity. That speaks to the question that Samuel Abiodun asked. So what's the difference between a BA and a Scrum Master? Like a Scrum Master is, let me call it in a layman's, the body of knowledge enhancing the principles of Scrum in a project. They don't have a responsible role. They'll come, join to the meeting, advise why not do it this way and why not do it that way, and work with the management to ensure that the Scrum principles have been applied. Now, if you say a Scrum Master is a BA, that's making a Scrum Master part of the development team. So this 18 line. In my also, let me use my current place of work. I allow them, I give suggestions on how to do things, and I'll allow them to run. And if they have impediments, they come back to me. Buchi, we're having challenges here and there, and I will use and remove the impediment, but I won't do the work for them. So a BA is part of the people responsible to deliver the products or the change or the solution. But technically, the way I like the way James said it, best practice is they are not supposed to be part of those working the daily activities. They are not, even in some stand-up meetings, they might not be there. But I'm trying to align a BA role to the current trend that's happening in the industry. Today, you will see roles for Scrum Master. And it's always different from a BA. In line with what James said, some merge it, but sometimes it leads to conflicting expectation and accountability. So now, if I do my Scrum Master well, you might hold me, okay, you're not performing your BA role well. But it's based on understanding and the current practice of any organization. But based on in line with best practice, the BA is not a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master have different set of skills required for you to be a Scrum Master, different from a BA. But I won't go deep into Agile unless the committee here wants us to go deep into it. But for guidance, and I believe, I think in even IIBA has a Agile, right? Dockers. There's a certification for that.
The
There's
Agile,
a certification for even data science.
Yes.
So, but that's why they separated it. But most organizations try to manage costs and deliver value. So they optimize the resources they have. But if they are distinct, they are different. Thanks.
Okay. So I think that speaks to us discussing the future of like business analysis is with the hope that organizations are able to then see the distinct roles that each of these professions play and then separate them instead of trying to merge them. Right. Nihila, sorry, do you have any other question? I see your hand is still up.
Yes, and this is becoming very interesting. And the reason why I actually asked the question is because I'm an author of Scrumban, just published a book on Scrumban. So a product owner is very close to a BA. There's a thin line. That's why I asked that question. There's actually a thin line. Of course, a Scrum Master is out of it, because a Scrum Master mentors, the development team, ensure that, everything that is leadership role and all of that, more like, a management leadership role and mentoring. Or like a product owner, just like Putia said, both work for internal and external. So in some cases, you realize that a product owner can actually, because the role of a product owner is actually to ensure that the requirement of the customer, either internal or external, is achieved. And that's why a product owner attends the meeting, the development stand-up meeting every day, the product backlog is updated and all of that, because if there's an issue with that product, the product owner is accountable because it's representing the customer, who can either be internal or external. So I know a BA would do all the elicitation, get all the requirements in details, but at the same time, you find out that product owners too, where, especially cases where you don't have a BA in that organization, product owners actually do that as well. Maybe not as detailed as a BA. They do that because they need to ensure that that customer is satisfied. That customer gets the products that the customer had asked for. So there's actually a thin line, and this is very interesting. I'm sure it's the kind of research maybe we should all take away from here and look at it. There's actually a thin line between it, because you find out that most of, that these roles are just interwoven. You just need to know where to draw the line. It's interesting. More hands are coming off. So let me just give others the chance to talk. Thank you.
Okay, James, you can go ahead. Go to the next question.
And I totally agree with you, Niniola. And we can go on and on.
Yeah.
There is a certain time in roles and responsibility that you kind of would think and see that there is a, how would you put it? There is almost a conglomerate or amalgamation of roles. When you talk about a product owner, how would that relate to a project manager? Because at the end of the day, the project manager is also accountable for the project.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the project manager is saying, this project must be successful, just like the product owner is saying, this must be successful. I see where you are coming from a perspective of requirement to say, the product owner will do the prioritization, would ensure that, whatever is flowing into the sprint is what is most a priority to the customer. But we can go on and diffuse and go, to the letter. And that's why I went back from, we have to look at the practice within that organization. And I like what you said, Buchi, to say some organization will just merge everything together because they are optimizing resource, or they don't have those resources. Or it might also be that they do not understand the process, where then a scrum master is saying, no, that cannot happen. This is who should be doing this. This is how it should be structured. So I agree with you. There's a lot of research to be done, but if in the final analysis, there's a lot of merger, a lot of, I can do this, you can do this, I can also do it, you can also do it. At the end of the day, it's the structure within that organization that will prevail to who does what. I hope that makes sense.
Exactly. So, Niniola, I can also make a case, say there's a difference between a project manager and a product owner. We can make cases. It's not, and I can use my perspective to also say I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate here. I can also make a case that a project manager, a product owner, a BA can perform the same role. But the key thing here is the maturity of the organization and the practice in that organization. Some people are called, I've seen BAs that are not BAs. Sorry, I've seen BAs. In fact, this BA is what I've done all my life. So once I engage you, you might have the CBAB, you might have the certification, but engaging you will tell me whether you're a BA or not. It's not by the certification, but I don't want to go there. Damola, welcome to the discussion.
Yeah, Damola, thanks for joining the session.
No worries.
Okay.
I would say interesting conversation so far, right? And what I don't want us to forget, so these roles, they have their particular domain. Like they have their particular responsibility to a project, right? However, I think that there are no much confusion on or around what a BA should do and what a PO should do, a product owner, or what a project manager should do. And that's why if you look at the agile track today, you wouldn't see any role called business analysis. It's for a reason, because there you see a product owner. Is to also avoid those duplicity in roles, responsibilities, right, and outcomes. So it's very commonplace to see an organization that runs both agile and traditional project management methodology to have one person act as a product owner when they are running agile implementations, and also have that person act as a BA when they are when the project is not particularly agile and the structure is not is not aligned towards agile. So I think there's the confusion or the overlap, it's easier. I think the basis or the fundamental should be on what track are you running this project. For example, you wouldn't see a project manager anywhere in agile, I know now there's agile project management, you know, and a lot of, you know, diffusion of methodology. But core agile, core scrum, you will see a scrum master, you will see a project manager. But the truth is that if you look at the core responsibilities of a scrum master and a project manager, I mean, they are a bit overlapped, right? So, I mean, that's my own perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. No BA in Agile, no projects, because that's why they are now trying to project the self-organizing team. Look at your capacity, look at your skills, agree on who does what, and roll with it. And there's no leader. So they are trying to, I totally align with Damola, they are trying to diffuse all those titles. Let's just focus on getting things done. That's why I like the diffusion of done. Once the team agrees, and with time, it will get to that. Because they say that Agile is simple, but very, very complex to implement. With the maturity increasing and the understanding increasing, at a point, you just see a team that can deliver. And we now stop looking at all those names that we are calling it today. Once the Scrum Master is there, is just to imbibe the principle of Scrum in an Agile in an organization. Once everybody understands it, everybody can be a Scrum Master. But the key thing here is openness, self-organizing team.
Okay. Seems let's work. Okay.
I disagree with myself as well. There's a difference between all the roles. So I'm not saying that project manager and product owner is the same. So I'm just saying if we understand the role using risk matrix, if we understand each other roles and strengths and capabilities, let's just focus on getting it done. So what I'm saying before I hand over to Dorcas is that the foundation for all these things, which is adding value to the customer or stakeholder, is business analysis. If you don't have that skill of a business analyst, even doing Agile or implementing Agile will be a difficult task for you. The foundation is understanding the principle in line with the body of knowledge of IIBA. How do I work to get out the right value for the stakeholder? And there are unique skills that you need to imbibe for you to get that result. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. So I think I see where this conversation is going. From my own point of view, I'm a marketing professional, right? And I've seen growth in this industry enough to allow for specialization, right? So at some point, the digital marketing was not a big deal, but right now there's digital marketing. Then within digital marketing, you're able to see different roles come out to say, okay, this person, I'm an SEO specialist, or I'm a content marketer, or I'm an influencer specialist or influencer analyst, right? So I see the BA space to like business analysis is growing, right? I think the question to, maybe I'll put this to Damola to say, is this what is the trend? Like, what is the future in this case? Like, what would it be? Would there still be room for specializations within the BA space? Like, is that what we should expect going forward?
Okay, awesome, Dorcas, and thanks for that question. I mean, myself, I've been watching the trends and I've been seeing things unfold, and I particularly for my own career also, I've seen how things have been unfolding and not at the pace that we expect. But I would say that for people who are also trying to watch out for the trends in business analysis, there's a lot happening in terms of future of work right now. You know, before now, say backtrack 3 years ago, there were no big buzzwords like AI, machine learning, data analytics, and because the BA spectrum, the BA world or the BA domain is a broad spectrum, like we all know, right? And we say that over and over again. They are more infusion, and some of these big infusion into what the future of work is looking at are taking lead roles. So I would say that yes, there will be specialization definitely, but if you want to if you want to be productive and if you want to be relevant, you need to also sort of stretch out, make sure that your tentacles are that well spread, where you have understanding around some of the big buzzwords in technology, especially if you're a technology BA, right? Even if you're not a technology BA, you need to, it's time for you to get very comfortable in learning and understanding the technology buzzwords that are shaping the future of work. Yeah, so in current trends right now, there are BAs that are going into data, there are BAs that are going into cybersecurity. There are, these opportunities are opening up in in finance. I've seen BAs now that are going into decentralized financing, using data analytics fundamentals to sort of shift and shape their careers. So yeah. So I mean, in summary, I think that the opportunities will continue to open up as long as we see these big buzz tech words or tech domains coming up. Yeah. So I would say that specialization is advised, but also try to be as broad as possible, so that you can remain relevant within the domain. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Niela, before we come to you, I'll throw this question to Gucci because I know previously you talked about skills, right? So what would you say are some soft skills or hard skills that, say, practicing BA or even potential business analysts should look out for and try to have?
Okay. As a follow-up with what Damola said, I will say, business analysis for me is the foundation to all these specialization that's happening now. Because if you are not good with analysis of words assist, if I can use that word, you can be a data scientist, it can be an AI, it can be a finance analyst, because you need to understand how to work with people, realize an officer, for you to be able to get to the top of your career. Now, if you check, a lot of executives are going for, they won't call it a BA program, but they call it strategy execution. Strategy execution is also, the foundation is business analysis. In 2012, I think I did a presentation using business analysis to drive business results. So for me, as far as the way IIBA has coined it, it's not a methodology, just a body of knowledge that you need to apply in whichever field or specialization that you want to use. Today, everybody's saying Jira, there are other tools, ClickUp and everything. Those are tools, but the foundation of those tools is still a business analysis. So they are using those tools to make it easier for you to analyze and coordinate things. So I'll advise everybody to be able to differentiate that. If you're a BA, it doesn't mean that I'll call you a BA. If you're a BA, means for me, means you have the foundation understanding of how to identify need and come up with solution, working with stakeholders. So for the skills aspect of it, there's a lot of skill I can recommend. That there's the communication skills, analytical thinking, leadership skills, decision making, global mindsets. There's quantitative skills, motivation. You need to be self-motivated. You need to have great disposition to learning, because things like Damola said, things are evolving, disruption is happening in a VUCA world. So you need to have a open mindset and strategy analysis. You need to be able to take risk and work with. I told one of my mentees that you can't say you're a good BA until you meet a stakeholder that is resisting your change. If you're able to convince that stakeholder and get him or her to trust you, allow you to do your work, then you're a BA. because people don't really talk about the challenges of being a BA, because I will come to, let's say, a head of operations that is an expert in operations, and I'm telling the head of operation that there are better ways, and the head of operation will look at me and say, have you done posting before? So you need to be able to convince, create that trust, a lot of human skills, trust for someone that is a subject matter expert in their field, to allow you to come and improve the way they are doing it. So these are the soft skills. That's why of recent, there are this aspect of BA that we should, I'm putting out here now, that we should be very, very intentional about, which is the people side of change. I've delivered a lot of projects. I also found that executing a project or completing a project doesn't mean that the project is successful. So that's the mistake some of us have made in the past. You finished it, you've executed it, but at the end of the day, nobody's using it. When we are documenting processes for people, we finished the documentation. We did over 2,000 processes, documented it. But at the end of the day, the owners were telling us that this is our process. I will document for account opening, and the head of account opening is telling me that this is not my. When they want to refer to that process, they say BPR process instead of my own process. So there's people side to change is critical, and it's now more now one of the top things that a BA needs to learn how to manage. So I've listed a lot of skills that I feel that as a BA you need to acquire. There's also a coaching skill, because sometimes you need to coach your stakeholders to understand why you are saying what you are saying, interpersonal skills. Then domain knowledge, you need to even understand what's happening in that space, so that you put a square peg in a square hole. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Puchi. We have just about 4 minutes to the end of this session. All right, so I would say at this point we can take questions from anybody. I know Abibola dropped a comment like, this is a good conversation. I was just asked to take on the role of a product owner and also continue to work as an ARP BSA. I would not say I fully understand what ARP BSA is, but I believe Damola should understand, or Buchi would understand that. So maybe if you want to speak to it shortly.
Damola, will you take up that?
Okay, I would try, and then maybe you can also add a bit of input. So I think what the person is saying is enterprise resource, planning, which is like enterprise-wide tools like CRMs, like Salesforce, and all the rest, Microsoft Dynamics, and all the rest that we have. Yeah, and that BSA should be a business system analyst. So Dorcas, I'm not able to see the question, but what's the question around enterprise ERP BSA?
So I think it's that thing of having BAs and like
it's
the
double
roles
role,
being merged.
double role, a product owner
Exactly.
and a business system analyst.
Exactly.
So this
okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
When you see those, okay, let me just quickly drop a word and then I'll hand over to Buchi. So when you see such roles are usually technical, because now there's a system involved. And when you see BSA also, it's telling you that you're a business system analyst. That can be transposed to IT business analyst, because you're handling a technology system, right? So again, you are required to understand and be comfortable with technology. You're also required to have an in-depth bias knowledge in that ERP, right? And when you see some job roles being advertised, they would actually mention the type of ERP they are looking at, because there are a lot of ERPs today, from SAS to CRM and all that. Yeah, so you need to be comfortable with technology, and then have what they call subject matter experts in such ERPs. Yeah, and I think you'll be fine with such roles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just in summary, they want you to deliver on that ERP. Product owner is about, like as we said formally, accountable. They want you to deliver that ERP. So you are the owner, product owner, you assess the value proposition, priority, and come to them, back to them, that ensuring that that ERP delivers value for the organization, in summary. So in addition to what Demola said.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have just 2 minutes, so I'll just say brief words. So Abimbola says thanks, guys. So I'll just say brief words from, sorry, we'll take brief words from both Damola and Buchi, right? So I'd say what would be your word of advice to all BAs? This is plus practicing and also aspiring BAs.
So for me, let me go first. So for me is, first of all, understand what a BA is. Understand the role of a BA and ask yourself, can you challenge status quo? Can you create trust? Can you have you ever had a chance to make a business case for a change and you were successful? Can you manage resistance? Because it will come. I'm saying it, it will come. And if you overcome that resistance and say get value for that change that you are trying to get about, yes, you are on the right track. But if you are not, if you are sensitive, if you are not rugged, like people challenging you, asking you, for years, people were asking me, what do you actually do? They don't understand what you do. So some people will ask you that question. And what do you say at that? It's only the response you give them is based on what you have delivered. So if they see consistency in what you've delivered, they will now start trusting you to be a BA and a solution provider, which is another name for a BA. You are a solution provider. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Buchi. Damola?
All right. I would say that now more than ever, the BA field is very rewarding. That's the truth. It's very rewarding. There's a lot of attention. There's a lot of intentional, shift in how organizations, enterprise are prioritizing the BA role and related domains. So I would say that make your mark. Now it's time to make your mark, right? Put in your best effort, learn as much as you can. And I would say that there are no limits or boundaries to what you can achieve. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Vimola just dropped a comment saying, especially when working in Montreal and your stakeholders speak French, even though they can speak English fluently. So I guess that speaks to Buchi's point of trying to, that people's management skill is really, really important. Right? So you might have to learn French too. James is laughing because he's there. Okay. So thanks everyone for joining the session. We did promise for everybody who joined the session, you have a discount that would be applicable to our upcoming bootcamp. So I dropped a link to the form. So please please fill out the link, the discount and everything, details on how to redeem the discount will be shared with you in the coming days, this week definitely. So please take our time to fill that out and we'll reach out to you. If anything, you can easily just shoot an email to info@bnetlearning.com if that'll be faster for you. So just shoot an email to info@bnetlearning.com and we'll respond to you. So thank you very much. Buchi, thanks a lot for joining the session. Thanks for your insights. Damola, thanks a lot too. Yes, thanks Neola for the contribution. Thanks Abibola for the contribution. So thanks to everybody that joined the session. Basically, we are really, really grateful. And for the last time, we'll say Happy Global Business Analysis Day to everybody. Hopefully we'll do this one more time again next year. And we'll have more people and more BAs joining the session. So
I would suggest that you don't wait for the global business analysis.
And we should definitely do one before. Okay, definitely, definitely. No problem. Okay then, thanks everybody. Let's have a great rest of the day. If you're in morning, have a good morning, good night, good afternoon. Thanks everybody. We share small chops, John. We'll see that later. We'll see you later. All right then, let's have a good day. Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
All right then.